Why did I say that Nene Leak's nose is on the path of self-destruction? Because anytime that you continue to do rhinoplasties, you are eventually going to end up in a situation with your nose.
I never wanted to do none like have none of it.
We don't want that.
But growing up, my brothers and my sisters always used to take me about my nose.
Because I mean, all plastic surgery is personal, but nose jobs are really personal because I don't think the average person looks at an individual and goes, "Oh, that person needs a nose job." So what do y'all see when y'all look in the mirror? That y'all want to do that?
I just think, is what you see in the mirror. Like maybe she felt like her nose was too big, obviously, because she went and got, she went and get a little one, but she obviously felt like it was too big for her. I felt like the same way my whole life, but I'm not getting a nose job.
You've had implants in your cheeks.
Oh, God.
You've had a dimple made in your chin.
Please,
You've had your lips enlarged.
Oh, please.
They're gentrifying their noses, y'all. Black women are gentrifying their noses. And that's because a lot of black women in Hollywood are chopping off their noses and replacing them with longer, pointier, finer, more European style noses that look nothing like their previous nose and erases a prominent feature of their ethnicity with one movement of the scalpel. It's gotten so bad that a lot of these stars are barely recognizable. Now, the topic of rhinoplasty is not new. People in Hollywood have been chopping off their noses for decades, but I want to focus specifically on black celebrities because there's something more insidious behind why they are having these nose jobs. But this topic really started to make the headlines once again after Memphis rapper GloRilla decided to have rhinoplasty. She had a nose job, changing her original nose into something that, I just do not even recognize this girl. So we're going to talk about that today on the platform. Let's get it.
Love me or hate me, God knows you made it when he laid his eyes on me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. My name is Rogan. This is This Bahamian Gal podcast. On my platform, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. This is not so much a private conversation. This is a public conversation we're having in public because everybody's talking about it. But when we go a little deeper, you'll understand why I say it's a private conversation. So let's just jump right in and talk about why so many black women in Hollywood feel pressured to have plastic surgery, more specifically nose jobs. When I'm having discussions with my friends, particularly my Bahamian friends back home in Nassau, one of the things I often say is that slavery did a number on black people. Slavery really did a number on black people. You have a lot of black people who are very insecure about their African features. We come from Mother Africa. And so as a result, we have a different hair texture that might be a little kinkier or coilier. We have dark skin, some of us. But when you think about somebody who's of African descent, you don't think about them having a pointy nose. That's more of a European feature, or curly hair or long straight hair. That is more of a European feature. Black people have coily, curly, sometimes kinky textured hair, broad features. It might be high cheekbones, a broad nose, full lips. Even their bone structure, their body structure is completely different. They might have a more protruding backside. It's all about these different features. And I feel like black people have been told for so long that those features that really just are prominent and display their ethnicity are not good enough. Now, where did this insecurity come from? Came from slavery. When you had people telling you, black folks, that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, that your features need to be hidden, your hair needs to be hidden under a scarf, your skin is too black, your nose is too broad. So it starts to play with your head. And then those same ideas and thoughts are passed down into the black community, and they then perpetuate those thoughts on other black people. So if you have a black person who is of a lighter skin texture, or they have a pointier nose, a thinner nose that resembles more of a European feature, they are sort of prized up. It's almost like a caste system where they are at the top, and somebody who has broader features, fuller lips, wider nostrils, they are placed at the bottom. So why do black women feel the pressure to have plastic surgery? Well, what we're not going to do, at least not what I'm going to do, is pretend like we don't understand exactly why they are running out to have rhinoplasty. Hollywood is a very weird place. It's like they don't mind you looking ethnic. They don't mind you being black, but you can't look too black. If you're going to have a prominent nose, you're going to have to be very light skinned with some curly hair, some wavy hair. Something's got to have to offset something. rather than accepting you as you are, something's going to have to offset it. Because we see it all the time in Hollywood. We see who makes it and who does not make it. We see the ladies who are part of the African American community who are placed at the top. The Beyoncés, the Halle Berrys, the Zendayas, even though Zendaya is biracial, Halle Berry is biracial, and Beyonce, although she identifies as a black woman, she has a lot of mixture in her blood. But these are the women who are placed at the top, and women who do have broader features like a Fantasia Barrino, like a GloRilla, are placed at the bottom. If you are very dark skinned, like a Naomi Campbell, then you're going to have very fine features. Even if you look at someone like Rihanna has a broad nose, and I also think that she's had a nose job, but I think whoever did her nose job did it in a way where it still maintains her ethnic look. You know, they didn't go extreme. But look at her. She's light-skinned. She has green eyes. She's tall. She looks like a model. She has a big, broad forehead, pretty lips, but not full. Definitely not like Naomi Campbell's lips. But her nose was much wider when she first started. A lot of people have said, oh, she hasn't had surgery, but you can tell that there's been some thinning of her nostrils because it's just not as wide as it was. Anyway, but let's talk about GloRilla, who went from Memphis to Beverly Hills. Talented rapper, made it to the industry on her own without having to do anything to her face or her body. And she has said in the past that she would not have a nose job. Take a listen.
I never wanted to do nothing like have none of it.
We don't want that.
But growing up, my brothers and my sisters always used to tell me about my nose. So when I was young, I used to always say, when I get the money, I'm going to get my nose done. And so when I actually got the money, everybody was telling me I need to do it. So it made me not do it because they were telling me to do it. I'm like, I don't even want to do it no more because y'all think y'all going to make me do it. And so I'm just going to, I live with myself.
You know, I remember watching that video and I remember feeling a sense of pride that she seemed confident enough to not want to have a nose job. She did have a big, broad, wider nose, but it's her nose. It suited her face. And I was proud to hear her saying, listen, a lot of people were telling me, you know, like when you get money, you're going to go and like go get a nose job or go and get a nose job. And she got money and she didn't want to do it. And sadly, she has succumbed to the pressure. I always thought she seemed very self-assured and didn't care what anybody said. But I think after a while, things do get to you, because I remember her doing like a tutorial, or she was getting her makeup done and she was doing some contouring, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. And there were people in the comment section saying, this girl is ugly. This nose taking up half of her face. This is an ugly nose. Her nose, why is her nose so wide? Baby, stop trying to contour because the contour ain't working, that this ain't working. You just don't look good. And you could have the most healthy self-esteem, but if someone keeps hammering that like in the comment section or to your face, because we don't know if people have been saying it to her face, they say that long enough, you're going to be affected by it. I don't care how strong you are, especially when you're in the limelight, because now it plays with you mentally. Every time you go to an interview, you're probably wondering, she's probably wondering what people are saying about her face, what they're thinking about her face. And as it relates to contouring, I understand that people try to do it to have like a more chiseled look on their faces. It's a great makeup routine, but I feel like with the contouring, it has like an insidious quality to it, because I feel like a lot of Black women are insisting on this contouring because they want the appearance of a thinner nose. They don't like their features because they weren't taught to love their features. They just don't like them. And so they're turning to makeup tricks to change how they look. That's why I'm really not that big of a fan when it comes to contouring the nose. Like, I really don't like doing that. I don't have a huge nose. I don't have a tiny pointy nose. I have wider nostrils. I'm a Black woman. But I still don't feel the need to do that because this is my nose. This is my parents' nose. So it is what it is. But again, I'm on YouTube, but I'm not like doing a million interviews everywhere where people are criticizing me about my nose. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I would hope that my self-esteem is strong enough to withstand that and be like, to hell with y'all. Half of the people who criticizing GloRilla, if you shine a light on them, they look like, come here, let me fix you. They look a mess. And they talking about this girl's nose. But my issue too is how everybody in Hollywood, especially in the Black community, their noses are looking very copy and paste. You know, in the 90s, the 80s, 90s, everybody started having that same Michael Jackson, Jackson family nose. You know, the nose that you saw on Mike, the nose that you saw on Janet and LaToya. Everybody just had these noses that were just so extreme. Imagine being a 38 triple G breast and then you decide to become an A cup. It's just too extreme. It's not even like a step down. It's like you up here and then just like plummet to the ground. So people are going so extreme. And another thing, I feel like a lot of these celebrities aren't doing their homework enough to find doctors who are accustomed to, used to have a track history of doing ethnic noses, because it's totally different. You cannot go and take a picture of Beyonce's nose and show it to the doctor when your nose is originally looking like GloRilla's or somebody else's nose who might be really wide, and say, this is the nose I want, because her nose ain't gonna look right on your face. You have to find a doctor who is willing to say, that's too extreme. And I'm not picking on GloRilla because I actually like her. I really hope like she doesn't go any farther than this. Like, just stop, because it can get really addictive. Then you start looking in the mirror and thinking about everything else you want to change, and you'll turn into like a science project if you listen to every criticism that somebody says about your face, because it don't stop there. Because then next they're going to say she's so skinny. Why she don't have no butt. She might as well go have a BBL. And she's not the only celebrity. You have Cardi B, who came out. I remember someone in the comment section when I did a previous video, and I said how I was talking about Cardi's BBL, and I said, I liked Cardi's face before. Yes, I didn't mind her fixing her teeth because she said it was a huge source of insecurity. But I had no issue with Cardi other than that. I thought her face was young and fresh-faced looking, and it matched her personality. And someone in the comment section said, let's be honest, that girl was homely looking. And I was like, damn. And these are the kinds of comments that those celebrities and homely, that's kind of tame compared to some of the things that people have said about Cardi. But, you know, she went and she got her nose done. There was nothing wrong with her nose originally. And she tweaked it. And now her nose looks like everybody else's nose in Hollywood. I take a look at someone like Nene Leakes, who had a ethnic nose. She had a black nose when she first came out. And she just started changing right before our eyes. And it just looked weird.
Girl, Nene Leakes has had her imperfections plastered all over TV since 2008. That's the time when she joined the Housewives. Word on the street is plastic surgery is a must for anyone on television. Girl, so Nene Leakes has had the most drastic transformation we've ever seen. Y'all, she went from Nene to Nancy.
So Nene's nose has just gotten too extreme. It's just gone from so wide to so thin, and it does not even suit her face. It looks very odd. Take a listen to what Amanda Seales had to say in response to Nene's ever-evolving nose.
Why did I say that Nene Leakes' nose is on the path of self-destruction? Because anytime that you continue to do rhinoplasties, you are eventually going to end up in a situation with your nose. We've seen that with literally a number of rhinoplasties. So there can only be a certain limit to how much of your nose you can alter before it ends up becoming an actual, like, construction issue. Michael Jackson. So, you know, it's like, leave your nose alone. Leave it alone. Cartilage and is not that, it's not that pliable like that. Also, at the end of the day, I just want us to love our faces the way they came. I used to hate my feet. Her not liking the way her nose looks doesn't change the biology of the nose. Doesn't change the reality of the biology of the nose. She didn't like the way her nose looked. She's completely just in doing, I mean, that's fine. The reality is you can only do so much to your nose. There's just not enough here. Oh, they always try and say shit. They always try to say I'm attacking black women. They don't even see me as a black woman. There's a whole like cavalcade of black women that don't see me as a black woman. So, you know, I've come to understand that, and I'm just like, you know, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself.
I've said on this channel before, she's right. She's right about all of that stuff. I used to feel so sorry for Michael Jackson because he really grew up in a household, according to him and his siblings, where his father was just not very kind. Joe Jackson, may his soul rest in peace, was not very nice to his kids. He would call them ugly all the time. And I'll play a video on that. But I want to play, Mike would go into these interviews and just straight lie about the surgeries that he had. And it's like, bro, I am looking at your face. This is not the result of one surgery. Take a listen.
You've had implants in your cheeks.
Oh, God.
You've had a dimple made in your chin.
Please,
You've had your lips enlarged.
Oh, please.
You've had your eyelids reconstructed. Eyelids reconstructed.
It's stupid.
None of it's true.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie. They don't want to give me credit for anything. One paper said I had because I was growing a little beard, he had each little hair transplanted into his face with a lasered in. How ignorant is that? I can't even grow a beard now? You ignorant fool.
Mike is a smooth criminal boy. Mike looked right in that man's face and lied. They may have lied about that, or they may have exaggerated about that, but sir, this face is not the face. God rest Mike's soul. This is not to pick on him. It's just to show you like the level of delusion too that comes along with it. Let me play another one of him. I tell you, Mike is smooth. Mike is smooth with these lies, boy. Here we go.
I've had no plastic surgery on my face, just my nose.
Michael, are you honestly saying that you've only ever had one operation?
2,
You've had 2?
as I can remember. Yeah, just 2.
Your lips are very different now to what they were then.
No.
But they do look different.
No, sorry.
You don't
Same
think
lips.
so?
I'm happy with my lips. Plastic surgery wasn't invented for Michael Jackson. Not the whole face, just the nose. They try to say, why do you keep changing it? It's not true. I don't do anything to my face.
Honestly.
Honestly.
This is not the result of 1 or 2 surgeries. Michael has had multiple surgeries on that nose. But again, this is the pressure. And listen to him. I'm playing him back to back so you can understand. Just listen to him talk about what he had to deal with.
Father would tease you about your
Yes, he would tell me I'm ugly.
Your father would say,
Yes, he would.
And Jeff would tell me, oh, you're so black, or you have such a big nose. He told you you were black? Yes, when I was little. You are so black. You don't look like my child. Your nose is so big and this and that. They used to call me Big Nose and stuff.
That's crazy. And I didn't mean to bring the temperature down like this, but that is absolutely insane. Especially when you're a child star, anybody. But you're a child or a teenager. You're already dealing with the public scrutiny. And on top of that, you got to go home to, your family, which is supposed to be your reprieve. It's supposed to be your solace. And you go home and then that's what you're hearing all the time. So is it any wonder that somebody who is dealing with that from external forces and internal forces, and then dealing with their own internal insecurity, would want to chop off their nose? It doesn't surprise me, not one bit. I'm not against plastic surgery. I've said this in previous videos, so I don't want you to think that I'm here bashing people for having plastic surgery. That's not what I'm doing. I'm concerned about the extremes that people go to when they're having plastic surgery. I also have to be very careful because, I don't have an issue with my nose. So I'm not against plastic surgery if it's what makes you happy in the end. I just don't like the insidious quality that comes along with it, that what you have as a black person is not good enough, that it's not beautiful. That's where I have a serious issue. You're changing yourself because you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror and it's a black feature. When women say, oh, my lips are too full, I'm going to have a lip reduction. What? You know what I mean? Women, like every single day you have people who say, oh, I wish I had fuller lips. And you have those naturally. So I just wish we would stop expecting our African features to take the back seat for more European features. European features are beautiful. They are. But they're different. And our features are beautiful too, and they're different. Not one being better than the other. It just is what it is. So it's just sad to see people like, Tyra Banks, Sierra, who has denied having a nose job. I don't know why, when it's just so obvious.
As I talk to you, every time I see you, I am only focused on your nose. Is that your real nose?
Yes, it is my real nose.
It is just the most beautiful nose. Do people say that to you?
I've heard that when I was younger, they would say I had like a Michael Jackson nose when I was really young.
And her nose job, by the way, Sierra's, was done tastefully because it was It's like sometimes you have to look to make sure, but yeah, you can see that it was done, but it was tasteful. So let's talk about what's really going on here. Because for me, it's not just about coming on here and talking about how I don't like these noses, that I don't think that they look good. It's about so much more than that. It's about visibility. It's about self-worth. It's about the fact that certain features just aren't celebrated, you know, and it's not just externally, but internally, we don't celebrate the way we look. We don't celebrate our own features because we don't value them. We don't think that they are beautiful. We don't think that they are up here. We think that they're bottom of the barrel and deserve to be chopped off and reshaped. I'm happy to see in some respects that the tide is turning, where you have a lot of women who are just practicing more self-love, falling in love with their hair, loving their features, just loving themselves. And like I said, rather than getting rid of your features, get rid of the people who are around you who are making you feel very insecure about who you are. That's what deserves to be cut off. I would never say, I have friends who are plus size. I have friends who have more prominent features. And every time I talk to them and they're the other day I was talking to one of my friends and she was like, she wanted to get buccal. Is that what it's called? Buccal surgery. So her cheeks look more sucked like that. Oh, I read her the riot act. I said, don't you dare touch your face. You got to be crazy. I said, you're going to age. You're going to age. And when you get older and you start looking, you're going to be mad. Don't touch your face, please. Please. If you have to, like you like Rogan, I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. It's killing me. I don't like it. Then get you a good doctor who is used to doing black noses. See their work, talk to some people, do your homework. Say, let me see some, get some references. Let me ask people. Don't just take their word for it, bro. Anyway, I am very curious to hear what you all think. Like I said, it's your personal choice. It's your body. It's your nose. I'm not here to bash you about it. I just wish that women would take their time and stop and think about why they're doing it. Because if you're doing it for somebody who is criticizing you online, like, to hell with them. You don't know these people. They don't know you. Like, you're going to modify your body for them? And if it's somebody in your space, a family member or something like that, who is making you feel insecure about your lips, your nose, your ears, your whatever, then you need to remove them from your space, not your body. You don't need to remove your features, remove them. Anyway, drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about these women's decision. And I'm sure some men do it as well. And have you ever considered plastic surgery, rhinoplasty on your nose, rhinoplasty? Have you considered rhinoplasty? If you did consider it and you went ahead, were you happy with the results or do you regret them? Are you somebody who is sitting here now watching this video and you have a prominent nose or broader features and you hate them? Why? Let's start a community chat down below in the comment section. Please, for those of you who are unaware, I am also a blogger, so please follow me on my blog at thisbahamiangal.com. I do a lot of beauty content, a lot of skincare content, a lot of musings over on there. You'll see some old content too, when I was doing articles on the Bahamas, like where to go, where to eat, where to stay, where to play, that sort of thing. Also here in Washington, D.C., where I live. But there's a wide variety of topics there, just like there's a wide variety of topics here on my channel. So definitely check out my blog. If you prefer to listen, go and listen to my podcast. I'm on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, everywhere where you get your podcasts. If you want to support this channel financially, you can go down into the description box and you will find the various ways to do it. You can buy me a coffee. I'll put a link on the screen, or rather a QR code on the screen. You can do that. And also shop the merch store. Please, I have a merch store and it's linked down below. Everything is going to be in the description box. I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you. Bye.